Good afternoon. Welcome to Pike Creek Farm. My name is Renee, and if this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome. I'm glad to have you back. Today I am doing what's for dinner, and yesterday I put on my community channel a poll for what recipe to do next. And the one that won was, I had it labeled as my grandma's stuffed meatloaf recipe. So I called up my mom about this recipe to make sure I had it right. And she went, "That's not grandma's, that's my recipe." I went, "Oh, okay, I misunderstood all this time." And I said, "Well, where'd you get it?" And she's like, "From my head." I'm like, okay. So this is my mom's recipe, not my Grandma Rich's. This is Veva's recipe. And it's a stuffed meatloaf. I have my oven on preheating to 350. I think I'm gonna try and make it in this square pan. I have 2 pounds of ground beef, and I think I can pat the ground beef down and then put the stuffing and then the other ground beef, and then you put mushroom soup on top. Now, back in the day, Mom said when she first started making it, she usually had like some leftover stuffing that she was trying to use up, or she had some bread that needed to be used up, so she would make a quick homemade stuffing. You know, the bread, celery, onions, and butter, and that would be the filling. Well, then stovetop came out, so ever since then she's used stovetop. So I'm using stovetop, and I am going to microwave it. So I'm going to get the water going. I'm not going to add the butter to the stovetop. There's the oven preheating. I'm not going to add the butter because the meat's going to have enough fat in it that I really don't think I need that extra butter. I might put like just a tablespoon, not as much as they call for. So I'm gonna get this water in the microwave and we'll make the stuffing, and then we'll start making the meat. So I'm hoping I'm not making a mistake and not using my 9x13, but I think that's too big. We don't need that much. I could probably freeze it though. So I'm gonna try it in the 9x13. I used to have a pan that was smaller than a 9x13, a rectangular, maybe it's called a brownie pan, and that used to work really good for it. But this is a pretty deep dish, like 9-inch pan. So I am going to open up 2 pounds of ground beef. Now, Mom did not make this like meatloaf. You know, she didn't add a lot of stuff to this. When I asked her, she always kept it pretty simple. I'm gonna wash my hands. I don't know if it's because she didn't season as much back then as she, you know, started making things more, but she would salt it. And then add pepper. She didn't add garlic or anything, which was surprising to me because usually she has garlic and everything. So I'm using my hands to mix this up just to get the seasoning added. You could use gloves if you want. I don't usually. There's a little bit of frozen in the middle there. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands and get the hot water. My mom is very hard of hearing. And I was trying to talk to her and get her to understand me, and she just has issues with the volume on the phone in the facility that she's at. I am going to add the stuffing mix. And you can use your favorite flavor of stovetop stuffing. So I'm going to let this sit and soak up the water while we get the meat going. And add a little bit more salt to this side of it and some pepper. All total, it was probably a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper, but do what your family likes. And I'm following Mom's recipe this time. Next time I might add some garlic to it, but it was always good when she made it. So I'm going to take half the meat and put in this pan, and then I'll see if I need to change my mind and swap out to a bigger. And I'm doing this with 2 pounds of meat. And just pat it into the bottom, make it an even layer. Press it in. Hands again. And that looks like about half. Let me put this little piece of meat. Now that's a frozen piece in the middle there. Okay, there. So now we have the stuffing. So let's add that on top. Let's press this down on top of that other layer of meat. Make it even, make sure it's just not all in the middle. And now the rest of the meat. You kind of flatten it into burgers. Don't be perfectly round shape, but and then put it on top, and we'll try and connect those. You could make this with venison or ground turkey. You could do a mixture of ground pork and ground beef. Okay, now I'm going to try and spread this out and connect it so it's a even layer on top. Okay, there you go. And now we take a can of cream of mushroom soup. You could use cream of chicken, cream of celery, cream of bacon. I know a lot of people don't like mushrooms. We're a family that likes them a lot. This I got at the Mennonite store. It's thinner than like Campbell's, so I don't have to water it down to get it to spread. Now to go with this dinner, we have some fresh beets I'm going to cook, and I'm going to make a salad. I'm not going to make a potato because this has the stuffing inside it. But you can. I know my mom did. So this is ready to go in the oven now. And let me wash my hands again. So I'm going to put this in the oven. This will take probably at least 45 minutes to cook. If it starts looking too done on the top, I will add some foil. I just thought it was so funny when I asked her, well, where'd you get the recipe? Because I'd like to get the history. And she goes, from my head. So anyway, so this is Mom's recipe for stuffed meatloaf, not Grandma's. So this is Veva's recipe. Here it is out of the oven. It took an hour to finish. The burger on top does shrink in some. Next time I would remember to save some of the mushroom soup to add on the top at the end so that it looks prettier on top. But you could top it with anything else too, like barbecue sauce or the traditional ketchup mixture. Here is dinner ready to go. You can see the stuffing in the middle, the beets and the salad. You can put whatever soup or topping you want on it. If you want to do the traditional ketchup topping, you could do that. If you wanted barbecue sauce, you could do that. Missy is drinking in the background. There's Missy. There's Ellie. It's late. It's after 7. We're eating late. We went to a play this afternoon at our community playhouse. I got Jim to go to a play with me. We went to see Escanaba into Moonlight. And Jim's a big hunter, and he has that movie and has all the lines memorized. So he really enjoyed the play. We laughed a lot, went with another couple, and it was very enjoyable. So dinner is late, but here it is. It is not dry at all. So a bite with stuffing and both layers. Look how the steam coming off. It's still really hot. Let it rest before you cut it. And it took about an hour for it to be done all the way in the middle and for there to be no pink or redness at all to it. So let's do the taste test. Just like I remember it. It's very good. Probably not the prettiest thing in the end. That's why I'm thinking I should have saved some of the mushroom soup to put on at the end. But it is tasty. It is good. So I'm gonna go eat dinner. Thank you very much for watching this video and for stopping by. I do videos on canning, on vintage recipes, on baking, and just cooking in general, and life here on Pike Creek Farm, which is our little 8 acres in the thumb of Michigan. So thank you for stopping by. If you like this video, push the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. I really appreciate it, and thank you everyone. We'll see you next time at Pike Creek Farm.